Hey guys, PJ back with Exotic Car Hacks, and today we are talking about the AMG GT Black Series again. Now we're talking about it because it's only fair that we give every single car on this channel that I actually own a fair fighting chance as to where it stands. Now, when we originally discussed and of course promoted the AMG GT Black Series, we talked about its flaws significantly. We talked about the trashy key, a C-Class key, the C-Class buttons. We even talked about the actual, and it's driving away. No, I'm just doing a photo shoot meanwhile while we're talking about this. But if you actually take a look at the car itself, even the door handles were messed up. You gotta follow my other review. Like, why the f do you have a C-Class key on a $500,000 car? Because it makes sense. But let's go a little bit closer to it. And again, be dynamic with me on this video because I don't have a choice while he's shooting this. But you know, a lot has happened since we originally got this car, which was that we originally didn't like it much. We thought about it and we said, look, the car itself, not that exciting. Doesn't sound that exciting. The drive is not that fast in a straight line. More importantly, we talked about, all of its flaws, but we also talked about how there was some good to it because it was somewhat of a more usable Black Series compared to some of the previous Black Series that were out there. My SL65 needed a 20-point turn to get out of your driveway, and the CLK63 Black Series was just pure fucking boredom. And so this thing came out. It's an actual AMG GT, except it doesn't sound as loud. You can't really customize it. It handles and performs significantly better than AMG GT of its previous generation, or previous form, I should say. And more important than anything else is it is unique, it is exciting, and it's incredibly expensive. An irregular AMG GTR Pro is still a $200,000 car, even used. This car used is over $500,000, which is over $200,000 above sticker. So the question was, is it worth it? Is the car really a $500,000 car? And my original argument was that it isn't, because there are significantly better cars for the money you could buy for $500,000. There just is, especially if you're going to only have one exotic. I talked about the exclusivity, but I will say that if you had to have a Porsche in the garage, this is a significantly better car than a GT2 RS or a GT3 RS, or any of those cars where we know that if you have other cars like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, you're unlikely to drive the GT2 RS as your favorite car, because while it's exciting to drive or very fast, it's just not that exciting to look at compared to some of these designs out there. Porsche is understated, and it is understated in a good way. As a part of an incredible collection, it's great. As its own car, or one of the cars that you have as a primary car, it's not that great. So the AMG GT takes that to the next level. It creates a better design, it creates a more exciting design, more exclusive, and it comes across as the track car you could keep in the garage. So it does that really well. My original complaint about the car is that it had somewhat of an identity crisis because it needed to be more focused around the track, meaning it needed to be more of a track-focused monster, and they needed to give up the creature comforts. And now I've had the car and I've driven it about 500 more miles. So it's given me an opportunity to really understand what AMG was trying to do with this car and talk about it a little bit further. And I wanted to do a quick update here on YouTube because a lot of you guys, again, follow me because I come from an owner's perspective, not from a borrower's perspective. And I live with the cars for quite some time. Sometimes when I hate them, I order probably 15, 20 cars a year. And as I get cars, my STO will come in January, for example, I will drive it. If I hate it or don't connect with it, it'll be sold. And then we'll talk about profits and we'll talk about ownership costs and so on and so forth. But as far as the AMG GT Black Series, I've gotten to spend some time with it. And I will tell you there are a few things that you grow accustomed to that you quite enjoy. First off, the first thing that bothers you going into the car is the fact that the exhaust node is significantly more tame than the regular AMG GTR Pro. It's not really customizable that much, and also you have to take in consideration that while it's fast, the experience of driving is planted, but it's also not that exciting compared to other Ferraris or Lamborghinis. So at first you start to get kind of discouraged from the car and you go, it's not that exciting. I don't think it's worth $500K. But as you get to drive it, as you get to spend time with it, you start to kind of realize that it's really good. Like, it's really, really good. It's just not necessarily good as the ultimate exotic to have in the garage, which takes me to my next argument, which is that it's really an incredible car from a design standpoint. It almost takes a full 10. It's absolutely bonkers beautiful. It's exciting looking. It's got wide fender flares. It's got a lot of details. It's really well put together, as Mercedes knows, and the quality is high, minus this door handle and the key and shit. Everything else is good. Now, the part where it gets a little bit more interesting is that quality is good, design is spectacular, handling is like 10 out of 10, and where it kind of shines is once you start to realize how to actually drive it. I think that was one of the biggest flaws for me originally, is that there are a lot of cars that you can get into and instantly enjoy. And what I mean by that is, let's just take an example like as the SVJ. You guys know the SVJ is one of my all-time favorite cars, and part of the reason why is that you don't need to get accustomed to it to make it your favorite car. It's dramatic, it's loud, it's exciting, it handles like a Performante. It is unbelievable, and it's a lot of value for the dollar, and its design, its presence, it's there. No matter who you are, you can have a great time in an SVJ. And even if you like to go fast, you can have a great time. And if you really like to handle well, you can have a great time. And if you like to go out to dinner and to be seen and the status, everything just works, and it works instantly. See, the SVJ is one of these cars where as soon as you get in, that experience hits you from the moment you get in the car to the moment you get out, even if you've never had an opportunity to spend time with it. So if I was a car reviewer and I was borrowing a car, I would say that I would have an incredibly high score for the SVJ right away, because I don't need a lot of time to really get to appreciate what it is and what it does. On the other hand, this is one of these examples where you do need a lot of time to really get to know the car and understand its purpose, why it was built, and what it does really well. Because at first, you get disappointed by the lack of noise, you get disappointed by the lack of excessive performance on takeoff, and you just don't get excited about driving into the city, because the experience of driving in itself and the lack of noise really makes you kind of like not feel like a race car driver. But it really changes once you actually get in really fast corners at high RPMs. And it really changes once you get to see your own car. And I guess the argument I'm making here is that a lot of these cars, you don't get to enjoy the design from the outside, you only get to enjoy it from the inside when you're driving. Other people get to enjoy the outside design. So there are cars that strike you where you feel that design on the outside and the inside based on the driving experience. And this is one of these cars where you don't get that immediately, because the design on the outside is incredibly dramatic, and the design on the inside and the controls in the experience is incredibly tame until you're going really fast. And so I once had an argument with a guy that told me why he hated the GT3 RS. He said, the only way I can have fun in a GT3 RS is at really high RPMs going really fast. And then I realized how incredible the car is. But when I'm going really slow or driving in the city, I'm very disconnected from the car. And I think that's the exact same feeling you get here, which is why I continuously compare the AMG GT Black Series to a GT2 RS or a GT3 RS, because while it costs significantly more, probably in the GT2 RS territory, if not more than that, because it's again a 500 to 600K car, and a good GT2 RS can be bought for like 380 to 420, it's just in the same comparable league. It's just not fun unless you're going really fast. It's not that good unless you're going really fast. And more importantly, it doesn't excite you when you drive to dinner. So that said, it's really good, but it's really good for the track, and it's really good to enjoy a spirited drive around the mountains or around a forest or in the woods. It's not that good in Florida straight highways, and it's not that good going to dinner. So that's what really bothered me in the GT Black Series, is that it isn't as versatile and as exciting as it needs to be, despite its incredibly exciting design. It just doesn't match the experience you get inside. It's not an exciting design. It's not an exciting experience. It's a very precise experience. And I think that really hurts and harms the car and the driving characteristics for new drivers. Now, experienced drivers or people that enjoy track time or that do want to spend money on a car that will perform better than anything else will find themselves right at home with this car, because not only it hits for design, but it also allows you to take this home and basically drive it around the city comfortably. But you just won't drive it around the city getting excited. And I think that's the big difference when I compare something like this to an Aventador, where while the performance of this is significantly better than Aventador, it's just not the same feeling when you get in and out. So AMG GT Black Series, rised in its ranks as it comes to my personal car collection. I'm enjoying it a lot more as I keep driving it and getting to know it, and I'm thankful that it doesn't have to be my only car. So I wanted to give you guys a very quick update review of the AMG GT Black Series, and also remind you that our Exotic Car Hacks holiday sale is on now, so click the link in the description and join Exotic Car Hacks for under $300. This gives you an incredible opportunity to learn how to get in and out of these exotics, and often either make money, not have any cost of repairs, and not have any cost of heavy insurance, things that people obviously misunderstand and follow the myths when it comes to exotic cars, that they're expensive to insure, expensive to repair, and of course they depreciate like rocks, which is highly untrue. I mean, the exotic car market is up almost 27% over the last year, which is nuts, but it is something we've predicted. If you've been a member for a while, you've heard me say this. It was a good time to buy cars in the early 2020 days. People didn't listen, so they missed out. Our members did quite well with their cars, but AMG GT Black Series goes up from probably a 6 to 7 to a solid 8 on my scale. The only thing preventing it from being a 10 is I rate cars on the basis that if they are that exciting, that incredible, then there are cars that make you feel incredible regardless of the situation, not just in one type of situation or not. Very interesting car to review if you don't spend a lot of time with it, because I don't think it'll give you a good grasp of how exciting it really can be. I mean, this right now is kind of part of the permanent collection. I think in the long term, they'll do really well monetarily. I think they'll go almost up to $1 million, but we'll see if I'm right, wrong, or not. Nothing in the short term, so don't buy one hoping to make $500K overnight. But I think in the long term, they'll do quite well as an investment. Anyways, that's my take on the AMG GT Black Series follow-up. Please make sure you like, turn on notifications, and subscribe. And please let me know your thoughts. Do you think I'm right? Was I wrong? Do you think the AMG GT Black Series is better? If you've driven one, I'd love to hear your opinion. Otherwise, tell me what you think of the design in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next video for Exotic Car Hacks. But don't forget, holiday sale is on, so click the link in the description now.